Idexcel, we take immense pleasure and privilege in welcoming you to how to accelerate data extraction for public sector organizations. On today's agenda, we're going to do an introduction to Idexcel. In this section, we will briefly introduce Idexcel and its service offerings, move on to the Amazon text tract for public sector, then go to the Idexcel's approach for digital transformation, the AIDE demo, and finish with an AIDE framework for the public sector. A brief company overview. Idexcel is a professional services and technology solutions provider headquartered in Herndon, Virginia, with over 20 years of experience implementing complex technologies. We are an AWS exclusive partner specializing in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data services, and cloud services for both commercial and public sector customers. We have over 140 AWS certified cloud practitioners in our team and hold various competencies within the AWS ecosystem. Idexcel is focused on supporting the AWS cloud. We are an advanced AWS partner and AWS reseller. We achieve AWS competencies in migration, DevOps, financial services, and expecting 2 more by the end of this year. Recent AWS Redshift are recognized as a public sector partner with authorization to resell and service the AWS government cloud. And we are also preferred partner for the Well-Architected Framework, WAF program, and Immersion Day partner. These are the core areas that we specialize in with extensive expertise in migration, machine learning, cloud native, and data modernization services. Now, let's get to know our speakers a little bit. Chana is a partner solutions architect with AWS Worldwide, having this role for 2 years with 2 decades of prior experience. Tushar is a data scientist with his master's degree in financial engineering for NYU, with more than 4 years experience in fintech and over 5 in NLP. Before we move on to our presentation today, we'd like to go ahead and start with a poll. Please go ahead and take a moment to look at your polls, start your polls. And if you are on Zoom, please select your choice. If you are watching the live stream, you can use your commands box. I'll go ahead and read the questions. This is for anybody who's not able to see it. Are you aware of an AWS ML service called Test Tract? Yes, no, or somewhat? I'll give everyone just a few seconds to go ahead and finish that poll. And again, if you are watching the live stream, you can use your command box to answer it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to do the poll. It looks like most people answered yes, 67% yes, and about 33% no. I will now go ahead and turn the call over to Chana. Please go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Ashley. Let me share my screen. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or evening. Welcome to today's session on intelligent data extraction and to understand how it can help accelerate digital transformation journey, especially for the public sector use cases. My name is Chana Basavaraja. I'm a partner solutions architect with AWS Worldwide Public Sector. Hope you all find this webinar useful and engaging. Feel free to drop your questions or comments on the chat or on the comment box if you're on live, and we will address them right after our presentations. To set the context, right, we at AWS are innovating on behalf of our customers to deliver the broadest and deepest set of machine learning capabilities, right, for builders of all levels of expertise. At each layer of the stack, we are investing in removing the undifferentiated heavy lifting so your teams can move faster At the top layer are our AI services, right, which allow developers to easily add intelligence to any application without needing ML skills. The pre-trained models provide ready to use intelligence for your applications and workflows to help you do things like personalize the customer experience, forecast business metrics, translate the conversations, extract meaning from the documents, and more. At the middle layer is Amazon SageMaker, right, which provides every developer and the data scientist with the ability to build, train, and deploy machine learning models at scale. And it removes the complexity from each step of the machine learning workflow. So you can more easily deploy your machine learning use cases, anything from predictive maintenance to computer vision to predicting customer behaviors. So customers have the ability to achieve 10x, right? 10x improvements in the data scientist productivity using Amazon SageMaker. And at the bottom layer, it's for more geared towards the expert practitioners, who could use who could develop on the framework of their choice as a managed experience in Amazon SageMaker, or use AWS Deep Learning AMIs or Amazon Machine Images, which are fully configured, with the latest version of the most popular deep learning frameworks and tools. So this is to dive into the topic for today, right? We are trying to focus on how to extract the date documents, right? We know the documents are there everywhere, right? Whether it is public sector or whether it is banking industry or insurance or healthcare. So it's basically it's ubiquitous, and the way the current state, right, of data extraction and processing is basically is consisting of the many challenges, right, in terms of there are many expensive manual steps involved, along with error-prone, limited use OCR, right, or optical character recognition options, plus the rule or template, right, based extraction isn't scalable, right? Like you won't be able to scale it, beyond certain point. So here, right, Amazon Textract is basically, I'm going to introduce, this service, right, is a document analysis service that detects and extracts printed text, handwriting, structured data, such as fields of interest and their values, and tables from images and scans of documents. Textract's machine learning models have been trained on millions of documents so that virtually any document type you upload is automatically recognized and processed for text extraction. When information is extracted from documents, the service returns a confidence score for each element it identifies so that you can make informed decision about how you want to use the results. For instance, if you are extracting information from tax documents, and you can set the custom rule to flag any extracted information with a confidence score lower than 95%, right, to be sent for additional reviews. Also, all extracted data are returned with bounding box coordinates so that you can easily access those fields and inspect, right, for manual inspection. You can also access all of these features of Amazon Textract API using AWS Management Console or using command line interface or CLI. So the key, the benefits here are like you don't need to be an ML expert. You don't need to have any background in ML, and you do not need to use any templatized or like any configuration-driven models to do the data extraction. And at the same time, it is of cost efficient product, given that it's on average the customers have noticed like 10x savings. For example, a 1,000 page of extraction using Textract will cost you around $1.5, right? So you can imagine, right, how cost efficiently you could scale with Amazon Textract. So let's dive into more detailed feature set consisting which are part of Amazon Textract, right? It's not only doing the simple as well as complex text extraction. It also could do table extraction, form extraction, as well as some of the the invoices and the receipts, right, which you want to scan and extract. Plus, it also has a custom feature where you will be able to integrate the human workforce in the loop, so that for any of the business critical business functions, you could have the human in loop feature very handy, so that you could ensure, right, you do the reviews and the inspections before you complete the process, just to make sure that, right, like you are compliant, as well as you're taking care of the business critical elements, and also it is seamlessly integrated into Textract. So that's the kind of the built-in feature which will help you avoid any custom development which may be required otherwise. So let's dive into each of these feature sets, right? Let's start with the text extraction. Here, like, it's not just extracting the simple text, right, the documents, but your document could be of advanced type, right? For example, you have multiple columns, right? Multi-column is one of the, right, you see like a lot of documents as such in documents, as well as on some of the forms. So it could extract multiple columns, right, which is automatically detected without adding any templates or configurations. Along the similar lines, right, like, yeah, when it extracts the documents with the text, so you will be able to get a granular view, right, in terms of the hierarchical blocks, right, of page, line, and the word. And Textract also provide the visual bounding boxes, right, along with the confidence scores for each word and line, so that you could view that on the actual document. And when it comes to table extraction, it's a similar, right. You will be able to get the hierarchical blocks in terms of page, table, and a cell. And for each block, you will be able to see the actual text being extracted, right, and the confidence score for that, along with the relation, right, like how it relates to the cell and the table and the page. And like, if you look at this table, right, like it's kind of a complex table. So where you will be able to extract in a structured in the form of a text structured output format. Textract will provide you all the relationships you need to understand the tabular data, the recognized tables, the cells within the table, and the words with each cell, right, within each cell. And we also provide the visual geometry boxes, right, along with the confidence scores, plus the row index and the column index as well. So in terms of forms, like take for example, you have W-2 tax forms or 1099s, or there are several types of tax forms, right, which you want to extract out of. So similar to tabular data, right, Textract provides all the relationships you need here. Plus, it automatically recognizes the key value pairs, right, in the form, along with the field value names. plus visual right geometry boxes to provide you the the bounding space for that attribute, plus the confidence scores as well as the row and column indexes. So like this is a one of the examples, right, of how a field extraction, right, like a diverse set of field extraction would work in using TextRack. It not only extracted the first name, last name, right, middle name, but also the date of birth of the person plus the gender, right, which is not a simple field, right, in when it comes to using the extraction, right? It was able to take the glyph input and able to translate that into the binary output, right, with the values assigned to the each of the options which was set. So now let's take a look at how could you ingest invoices and the receipts, right, which which could be your input in this case, and how how you could extract, right, the details. It could be the expense report you fill in, or it could be the vendor, right, the invoices your company receives or your agency receives. So here, the TextRack provides Analyze Expense API, which will allow you to process virtually any style of invoices and receipts at scale. So this use case, right, for has is very relevant for the business cases such as account payables, rebate fulfillments, or trend modeling. And here again, there's no need for you to, create or ingest any custom templates or configuration parameters. And it not only extracts the headline amount, but also the line level totals, right? Line item to details. Plus, it consolidates the diverse set of receipts and invoice formats into normalized field values, right? Which would be pretty handy when it comes to what you want to do with the data after you extract. And the supported formats here again are PDF, PNG, JPEG, as well as TIFF. But for just for the invoices and the receipts, the language supported is for now is English only. Here is a sample, right, example, right? Someone was able to scan and upload a receipt, right, the retail receipt from Whole Foods Market. So where you could see here the data is accurately being extracted along with the line items as well as the product which the customer purchased along with the actual price they paid for it. So here, this is the kind of the one of the core business right use cases for Amazon TextRack. And it's not only the structured right or the printed documents which could be used with TextRack, but even the handwritten documents, right, which could be handwritten along with the printed forms. That's very common, right? It's kind of, I think of it like a mixed mode documents. Handwriting extraction is one of the supported forms, right? It allows for you to extract the data in key value pairs or tabular data if it contains tables, as well as it returns a response indicating whether the text was handwritten or printed, right? You will also be able to make a if you want to do something something different, right, when it comes to post processing, you could take advantage of this particular flag being set in the response from the TextRack API. So this is the response from the TextRack Analyze Expense API, like Analyze Document API, right, which consists of the text type being outputted as handwriting. Sorry. So now you may wonder, right, like if you have multiple, requirement to scan multilingual documents, or you have, you have the business case where you need to digitize English as well as Spanish and, other languages. As of today, Amazon TextRact supports English as well as German, French, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese. But this is for the structured documents, right? Like you have the printed documents or the documents in the form of Word doc or PDF or images. But when it comes to handwriting, as well as invoices, receipts, and the ID documents and the queries, right, which I'm going to talk in a bit, are supported only in English. Just keep that in mind. So now let's talk a bit about A2I, or Amazon augmented AI for human review. So in short, it's called A2I. So when you need a human oversight to ensure accuracy with sensitive data, some of the use cases here could be you have a sensitive data being analyzed or extracted, and because it is a critical data information, so you want to interject human verification in the loop, or it could also be a random check, right? Just to make sure, right, you are convinced that TextRact is meeting the high accuracy or high quality bar, right, you have for your agency or company. So it could be a random check, right? You want to send 1 out of every 100 documents scanned for a human review, right? Just to make sure that it's being randomly checked for the right quality. So, and also A2I can be used to build workflow easily, so in this option, you could use your internal teams, right, if you already have one, or we have many AWS certified partners uh, like Idexcel, or it could be a public resource sourcing using the services such as Mechanical Turk, which could be integrated into this A2I to have that human set of reviews in the loop. So let's take a look, how a typical A2I or augmented AI feature, right, works with in conjunction with Amazon TextRact. So you have a client application, right, which sends the documents, right, in the accepted format into Amazon TextRact, and then TextRact extracts the text and structured data from these scanned documents, uh, right? That's the first step of extraction, and assume that you received high confidence predictions, right? Immediately, you know that it is kind of a you got the right level of confidence, high confidence score. Like take for example 95 or above. So you're convinced that this is good for your use case, and you send it right away to the client application for doing the right post processing. But in case if the confidence score is lower, in this case, you want to divert it into a human review cycle, where it goes into the A2I human human in the loop, and after the human reviews are completed, it gets ingested, like it gets aggregated, right? It gets aggregated using A2I answer consolidation algorithms, so that you don't need to do anything to aggregate that information after the human reviews are completed, and then the results are stored into S3, which can then be sent to your client application for the processing, just like you did with your high confidence output. So I know, like I talked quite a bit. Now it's time for a quick knowledge check. So when it comes to Amazon TextRact, right? Like I want to just to understand, like just to gauge your understanding so far. So what are the most common use cases for Amazon TextRact? Like, what do you think? So these are the options, right? I'm showing on the screen, right? Option A is building automated document processing workflows. And option B is maintaining compliance in document archives. And C, extracting text from natural language processing or NLP. Or D, extracting text from document classification. And the option E being all the above. Please type in your answers into the chat box or the comment box, depending on if you are on Zoom session or on the LinkedIn live session. Hopefully, there are some responses coming in. Ashley?
I'm not seeing any responses currently on the Zoom room.
Yeah, please. Audience, yeah, if you can take a brief minute and quickly type in what do you think, like is it option A or B or C or D or E? I'll give you probably 10 more seconds. All right, it's time for revealing the answer. So the answer here is all the above. That's option E. These are all even though it may look advanced for some of you, but all of these features are supported by Amazon TextRack. It's not only you could build automated processing workflows, but also you could maintain the compliance, right? Whether it is HIPAA or to take care of the PHI information or the PCI or FedRAMP or SOC. And at the same time, you have the ability to extract text and classify it, and also do a natural language processing, right? Such as writing queries on top of it to make it more seamless to sift through the vast amount of information, right? You collect and extract using Amazon TextRack. So now let's look closely into some of the common use cases for TextRack, right? Including public sector use cases, right? So there are several use cases, right, which are noteworthy, and they are spread across not only public sector, but insurance, financials, healthcare, and others. So whether you are looking to augment, like for example, you want to augment your benefit application process flow, right? You are a nonprofit or a state government or a federal, where you want to do right accelerated or augmented benefit, right, or unemployment claims or any such right citizen right interactions. So this could really benefit and help, right, augment that, and as well as improve the SLAs, especially during the times when you see a sudden surge or spike in the number of applicants, and as well as to improve the overall efficiency, right? Like it could also span to the use cases such as you want to verify the IDs for some of the claims, or you want to do a set of pre-processing for your mortgage or loan applications, or you want to digitize the patient or clinical or insurance artifacts, so that you want to make it more search ready, as well as analyze and derive some valuable insights out of it. Going further, right, let's look into some of the customer case studies. So one of the financial customer, right, Broadridge. So they were faced with a challenge, right, to extract data from ACCs, right, Securities and Exchange Commission filings. Specifically, they were targeting the proxy voting forms submitted by millions of investors. The data points they were extracting are things such as name of the board directors, their length, ESG proposals, and others, right? Which was which was pretty manual, right? When they started looking at it. As part of the solutioning, right, uh, they use the document processing as well as text extraction, uh, taking advantage of a couple of AWS AI services, including Textract for extracting the text from the documents, and Amazon Comprehend for natural language processing, which was very helpful to pull the names, right, to extract the name information, ESG proposals, as well as their tenure. So in terms of impact, it not only was able to reduce the manual effort, right, of the team they had, that was 160 people, and also they were able to use them, all right, efficiently to understand and see the data, right, the data information, which was the data insights, which was hidden within these documents, instead of spending their time doing the manual entry, right, and like other undifferentiated activities. In a similar way, another customer use case here, it's about NIB Group. It's a leading health insurer in Australia and New Zealand. They have over 1.6 million users, and they provide members a way for to upload their medical documents via mobile app. And here Textract was used to deliver a high quality extraction as well as structured data processing. And Textract was able to speed up their claims processing, resulting in a great customer experience as well as increasing operational efficiencies. Uh, so one of the quotes, right, I think you can see it as well from their head of emerging technologies. Internally, our claims processors are actually able to focus on claims that might be more challenging or need more time, and they don't need to spend the time on manually transcribing the information or manually typing in the fields required out of the more simple claims, right? So it's basically was able to help them complement their staff, as well as improve the speed and the efficiencies with existing workflows, along the way improve their customer satisfaction. One more use case here, it's from a major state and local government organization. Is about they are building a proof of concept along with an AWS partner, which is very interesting topic. They have a large number of scanned documents available with them. Think of it as like your mortgage, right, or insurance claim submissions, which are submitted as one aggregated or a grouped document or a one scanned copy. But they are looking into how to separate them out, right? So here I'm happy to share more details if any of you are interested on this use case. Certainly feel free to drop a note in the chat or in your live right, comment box. So the services here used are Textract, Lambda, S3, as well as DynamoDB. Plus, you have the option to use some of the partner solutions, or which are more curated and custom built to to avoid to accelerate your journey further. So one simple the workflow here could be, right, you could use Amazon Comprehend classifier, right, to train the classifier using the PDFs or the images, right, which are already scanned copies here, and you can use that like comprehend to comprehend like module to expose an endpoint, which could be used for document splitting, right? In this case, you upload a composite composite scan document, and then the comprehend, right, using this custom classifier inference ML model will be able to suggest that, okay, this particular complex document has three sets of documents, right? One is the loan application, second is the W2, and the third is the the pay stub of the applicant. So you will be able to extract them out and then as well as classify, right? So helping you to get it more organized, right, for your need. And then another public sector use case we have seen, which is gaining more and more popularity, is how they can make a whole bunch of artifacts which are in the physical form or in a unstructured scan document form, right? It could be federal bids or proposals, or you may have some of the RFPs, documents, or any of the, it could be internal only documents, right, which could be proprietary, or it could be public along with, internal only or confidential set of documents. But if an agency wants to sift through, right, thousands of pages of documents, and and see where, like, they want to really understand, right, like what exactly is their catalog looks like, right? So here one use case would be, right, you can use Textract, S3, Lambda, and Amazon Kendra. That's a machine learning based search engine. So it could really help to get you to the next level, where you not only have the digitized version of your documents in a structured format. Also, you'll be able to search them through, sift them, and then uh, uh, get to pinpoint into the next level, right? What are the types of documents you have, what kind of classifications you have for the documents which are being indexed into your search indexes. So this is this slide shows some of the our customers, right, the end customers who have implemented, which basically this is just a small subset. We have many many more customers who have taken advantage and augmented their the business processes using Textract. It includes the domains from public sector to financial services to healthcare to many other services. So one of the customer, I just want to quote here because it is so kind of appealing. The first one, which is which is shown here, that's Anthem, right? Anthem is one of the largest health insurance providers in the United States. After a medical provider submits documents to Anthem's provider portal, the documents enter a data store and are sent to digital processing function powered by Amazon Textract. Inside this function, Textract uses optical character recognition to extract data and uses machine learning to automatically index and classify each document. The processed claim is then made available to Anthem stakeholders. So based on the recent estimates, 80 to 90% of their the process flow has been digitized, right? So that's one of the one of the success stories. Also I remember Anthem's VP from their that insurance division was at one of our reInvent. I do recollect, seeing him on the video. Here, I'm showcasing a reference architecture, right? You may wonder, like, how what all it takes, right? What entails, when it comes to extraction is fine, but how can I really index and make them searchable, right? It just goes. This is one of the reference architecture Certainly, there are other ways to do it, but this is, I would say, it's one of the like like kind of commonly used, right, where you have your input coming in from various sources which are uploaded or fed into your S3's object store, and then the Lambda function, right, the serverless compute option we have with AWS will be able to initiate the analysis or the extraction using from the Textract APIs. And then once Textract automatically extract the key information or the text and the various information from the documents. So it's going to provide the output, right, which would be uh, which could be ingested, right, which should be which could easily be ingested into OpenSearch service. That's a managed open search, right? Like the OpenSearch service on AWS, so which can be easily used, which can be quickly used to search and using faceted search or other advanced search option to make it like more easier for you and your teams to to find the relevant information or the relevant documents out of probably thousands or millions of that document set. And here is another reference architecture which I'm showing here, where you could get the extracted information and write a custom application to do a post processing of the output you gain out of the Textract APIs, and then it can be submitted right into a intake database. So it's basically you can integrate that into your the actual business workflow. Now let's review one more extraction reference architecture. Here, right, it also includes how you could do a NLP, right, natural language processing. This could be medical records or insurance claim records. So you could use Textract along with NLP, right? It could very well be Amazon Comprehend, so that you will be able to write natural language queries to to find the actual information which is buried right in the document set you have, and then it could be easily ingested into OpenSearch as well, which can be useful to easily search and extract the insights. And then also it could be used to discover more pertinent information to improve patient care or improve the claim processing in terms of providing better customer service. This is one other reference architecture, this is more specific to the invoices and the receipts. Right here, you could have make it more scalable. Driven. It's driven by the Event Bridge service, which is integrated with the S3 and then the Lambda to create that kind of on-demand processing through Analyze Expense API of Textract. Cool, awesome. I know it's been a lot of talking and a lot of verbiages, right? Hard so far. Let's switch gear and go over a quick demo, right? Quick demo and see how it looks, how easy it is, or how difficult it is, right? To use this service. So this is some of you may be familiar, right? This is the Amazon Management Console, right? Homepage. I'm using my test account. So you could either search or you could use this menu option to pick the service you want to you want to access. So I'm going to click on Amazon Extract here, and I'm going to show you like some of the cool features, right? Before you even dive into making a enterprise grade solutioning, you could quickly play around, right? Like, okay, I want to see how a normal analyzed document would look like, right? Any document, like more commonly, most of you may have got one, right, from CDC for your COVID vaccine records. So here you could see that it's the vaccine card being uploaded. Here you see that this is certainly not a very simple thing, right? Simple data structure. It got the form values as well as the tabular form information. So and as a first step, right, you will be able to see that it has accurately extracted all the information, right, from this image, right, which customer has uploaded. So if you want to see, like, okay, where is this particular information residing, right? Like, I want to see where does the lot number there. So you should be able to select this to get that bounding box, right? This is a box where this document, this particular attribute is present on this document. And then you could also see in a forms, right? Like what the form value is being extracted out, plus the table form, right? Here you'll be able to extract this in the table form, and also you'll be able to export this as a CSV, right? And when you say download results, plus query this is one of the coolest things which we were discussing. You have this natural language, right, based extraction. So you want to see, like, okay, what is the clinic site for the first dose, right? So if you want to get an answer to that question, right, using natural language, so to be able to extract and tell you that, okay, this is the right, this is the value, right? This is the information it's able to extract. It's not only structured, but as we were talking before, it could also analyze the the invoices and the receipts, as well as if you want to see a hybrid document, right, which consists of both printed as well as the handwritten text. So you could even be able to scan and search the information, both the tabular form, like on the forms, as well as if you want to see want to understand, like, where is the signature, right? Yep. So it's going to show you, right? Like, it's going to through natural language processing, it's able to understand that, okay, you're looking for the actual hand signature, right, which is printed on the pay stub. So it was able to detect and take you there, that exact bounding box, which was detected through the machine learning. So now let's take a look into a little bit more complex examples, right? How you could implement some of the document processing for geared towards public sector or any other industries. So I'm going to show you an internal demo application which we have built. It's geared towards both public sector, right, in use case, as well as healthcare and mortgage, and as well as insurance. So let's this particular thing, right, this particular architecture is this particular demo app is built based on this particular architecture, right? Architecture. So you could be able to search it out on AWS, right? It's called intelligent document processing, where you have this S3, right? It's basically serverless and event-driven architecture based. So you have the SQS, which will be used for polling, and then the Lambda is going to trigger the text track to right? And then based on the job completion, it's going to trigger another Lambda to have the results, right, ready for use, and as well DynamoDB NoSQL managed NoSQL database from AWS is being used here for storing the state as well as the meta information, which is used for for storing the confidence scores as well as some of the other metadata information. Plus, depending on the confidence score values, right, you could also it also uses the human right review in the loop. And then you have the another Lambda here to update the results post human review using A2I. So let's quickly look into some of the sample documents, right, for this benefit application, right, targeted for nonprofit organizations or for state or local or federal government. So here we have created a set of right test demo use cases where we have three applications on shown here, right? One of them being a new claim, the other is the auto rejected, right, because it did not meet the requirement set, as well as the other one, which is the success use case where you had set the required set of parameters and they have been met, so it's auto approved. So let's take a look into the new claim, which has been uploaded by the applicant for benefit right claim. So here you see that they have uploaded a set of 5 documents. You will also be able to take a quick preview here, but they're all of the type PDF, right? One of them is, some of them are images, and then the others are PDFs. So when it comes to the next tab, you see that they were classified, right? Auto classified using the machine learning and the processing being done by the architecture we just went over, right? You don't need to really do this manually, but it has been classified, and as well as the confidence score is shown here, so that you can even verify how were they classified as that particular document type. So you could as well verify here. And now let's quickly check like how a document, right, in information extraction looks like. So it's been all being automatically extracted out, right, and then you have the way to see them, right, as a forms, tabular forms, and then human in the loop is also right, like option right, which is not shown here, but yeah, that could be readily be integrated. You could verify the license, right, what the customer uploaded for this particular claim or benefit application, and then the bank statement was uploaded by the customer along with the table type of information. And then as well, you have the option to query, which is not shown here, but these are all like, this particular application is all written, taking, leveraging the APIs, right? APIs provided by Amazon TextRack and Comprehend. So now you could see that like all of this information were extracted accurately, as well as they were they all got the confidence score, which was above the threshold which was set. So, and the extraction was successful, and then there were no no red flags or no issues or no missing information was found. So that's where it is marked as completed, right? Verification is complete. So now you could say that it could be sent downstream, right? So verification is complete, and if you want if you want to add a human in the loop, it could also be integrated. But in this case, yeah, it's not required. So you're going to send this application to downstream. So that's the one of the the use cases you could think of. And coming into the another use case, right, where you have healthcare information, right, healthcare claims processing. Here again, your patient has uploaded the required set of documents to request for a health insurance claim, right? So here, they have the discharge form, medical transcript, driver license ID, as well as prescription and the invoices, right? Which are all again being auto classified, right? Using the the classifier, which is like, built in this architecture. So here you could see that, there is a review required, indicator here, because the confidence score is low here, and the solution could not really, right, get the required threshold for the confidence score. So that's how, you could again, interject the human review in the loop and make sure that, right, all the missing information is corrected, or right, the application is rejected, so that the customer uploads the right information, or more better quality, right, scanned copies. And you could also verify, you could also see how, you could have the information at a granular level, like for each entity, like each attribute, you have the confidence score, not just at the page level. So that's going to be pretty useful when you're like, writing your custom workflow or applications. Yep, and some of them are like curated towards the medical, right, terminologies and the entities. So that's again, also built in. That's part of Amazon Comprehend Medical, right? That's specifically done to address some of the nuances with medical and pharmacy, right, industry. So here, right, once the review is complete, you could see that it's showing that, right, like as long as you have the confidence scores which are showing above the given threshold being set for this particular business process. So you could you could see that all of them being shown as verified, and the thresholds are being met. Because the thresholds are met and now they're all looking green, so you will be able to, like, send it downstream for the post processing. And then one last thing before I conclude, right, I'm going to also show you another demo app we have, and also I think this is called as Document Understanding Solution. So you should be able to find them on GitHub, AWS samples as well. So here, you will be able to see how easily you could search, right, the search use case I was talking before. So you'll be able to not only extract the information, but also be able to search them, like, as a search value. For example, you want to know how many people have diabetes, right? So you will be able to get that, right, like right away. And then you can also have the option to use the advanced search option, right, which is driven by NLP and semantic search, right? That's Kendra. So you have option to use either the open search or the Kendra option here, and then you could see the actual document where it was found, like further suggestions here, and then whatever the best information, right, it's able to glean through from the documents which are being extracted already. And then one other thing I'm going to highly recommend is, like, if you are building a complex, right, industry text extraction, right, use case, like a business case, I would highly recommend going into this AWS samples right project on GitHub, where you'll be able to see a reference architecture for a serverless large scale document processing. So this is very handy, right? This is following the similar pattern what I just showed for IDP, right, intelligent document processing, as well as DUS, right, document understanding solution. So here you see that it's being like entirely event driven as well as serverless, and it's highly scalable. So this is really useful for you to, right, reference as well as reuse, because it's open source. I think that pretty much concludes my demo. Let's quickly glance through these slides, go back to these slides. So I think, yeah, we are, these are the set of partners, right? Partners are like really valuable, right, when it comes to accelerating your digitization or digital transformation journey. So one of the partners you could see here, for text track implementation as well as for other machine learning services is Idexcel, right? And also, like, we have a bunch of other partners, right, who are specialized as well as well experienced with various solutions, as well as building your enterprise applications. And then that pretty much concludes my presentation for today. But I'm really glad I got this opportunity to go over the business value of using Amazon Tech Stack and the other machine learning services from AWS to really help accelerate your digital transformation journey. With that said, this is my contact information. I have my email address, and as well as my Chanaba is my email, LinkedIn alias. So feel free to reach out with any questions or any comments, and I'll be glad to get back to you and respond back. And with that said, I'm going to transition to Tushar, right, from Idexcel, like, who is going to walk us further, giving more context in terms of how Idexcel as a AWS advanced partner is able to further accelerate, right, customer journey, and then how their AIDE solution platform, right, custom built AIDE solution can really help public sector agencies and the customers to really go to the next level. Thanks. Over to you, Ashley and Tushar.
Thank you so much, Shanna. Before we move on, we do have another poll. If you could just take a moment to go ahead and answer the question, you can just select it here on Zoom, or you can use your chat box. I will read it for those of you who aren't able to see it. Which document extraction tools are you currently using in your organization? The options are Abby products, FSoft, Rossum, iText, AWS TextRact, or other. So please just take a moment to fill that poll out. Give another few seconds here. If you could just kindly fill out the poll showing on your screen. Again, if you aren't in the Zoom room, please feel free just to go ahead and leave a message or use your chat box. Gentlemen, it looks like it's an even split here between iText and AWS TextRact. Thank you so much for taking the time to fill out the poll. I will go ahead and now turn the call over to Tushar. Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, based on wherever you guys are located. Firstly, I would like to say thank you and Ashley and Channa for like your kind introduction. Taking over, right, Channa's presentation, right? So, like he first very in depth went through the text track, right? So over here at Idexcel, right, as we already know, right, we are a AWS practitioner, right? So we take in the TextRact as one of the core services where we do a lot of data extraction solutions, and we have a product called as AIDE, which we will be going through over, and we will show how we have built use cases around using Amazon TextRact as primarily the tool that we use it. So yeah, we'll just go through some of the initial slides for IDXL's approach for digital transformation, and then we will go in depth about the use cases, and then we'll conclude with the demo. Yeah. So very quickly, right? I'll just talk about IDXL's AWS ML practice, right? So we have been like working with various customers, right, in multitudes of fields. So like we have more than 2 years, I would say almost 3 years of extensive experience in implementing the AWS stack. We have more than right now, right, we are reaching around 15 data scientists that we have. Most of them are all ML specialty certified practitioners. We use TextRact, Comprehend, Recognition, most of the AWS services while building our solutions. Again, right, we try to make it as a point, right, as a cloud practitioner as well, right? We try to make sure that our solutions are built on SageMaker, which can be served as an endpoint directly, so that it's very easier to have everything in one cloud, and it's just very seamless integration. to the endpoint for any customer to consume. And like everybody has discussed it, but yeah, we are an AWS machine learning catalyst partner as well. And yeah, we also, right, beyond AWS also, right, we use a lot of open source uh tools, PyTorch, TensorFlow, to them, and other scikit-learn, to cover like other various aspects, right? So beyond extract also, right, we do a lot of pre-processing and post-processing to make sure that we get the requested information, or if the image quality is bad, or if we see any other template, or if it's something new, we make sure that we pre-process it in the correct way, and then we do that. And the last point, yeah, definitely we try to make a solution as serverless. So we use Lambda, extract directly, all of those functionalities, right? So that makes it very easier for the clients as well to make it as a pay-as-you-go solution, where you don't have to worry about a constant incurring server cost, and we can just focus on like, okay, we have 100 requests today or 10,000 requests today. It will scale also automatically. So that's something, a beauty about our practice. Before I move on, right? So this is a very important quote. Like everybody in the team, like focuses mostly on, and this quote is by none other than Jeff Bezos, right? So we try to look it in this way. Like if you're competitor focused, you have to wait until there is a competitor doing something. But being customer focused allows us to be more pioneering, right? So what we have understood, right, with all our experiences, right? We have people with more than 20 years in the industries as well, right? We have understood, right? Learning more about the customer, their pain points, and then building solutions around it, rather than just trying to imitate the customer, the competitor, that has worked very well for us. So that's something that we also work towards, and use that kind of a mindset to make sure that there is growth for both Idexcel and the customer, and solution that we develop goes very seamlessly, and we try to address as many pain points as we can. So this slide is very important for us at Idexcel, right? So before we pick on any project, right, we understand the company's AI maturity assessment, right? So when I talk about AI maturity assessment, right, for any AI company to succeed for any AI project, right, there are like 5 predominant pillars that they need to have. Like the pillars are, right, nothing but the strategy, people, data, technology, and implementation. So let me just quickly brief you, like what are those pillars. Like strategy, right? So everybody in the company needs to buy in, starting from the executive level to the managers, to everybody in the team needs to align in their goal to have a strategy to adopt AI. People, you need to have a right set of people to do the same work, right? So you need to have experts delivering that. Data is something very, very important. I think, or out of all the pillars, right, if data is not there, you will fail. So for us also, right, we have seen like 70 to 80% of the AI projects, right, that do fail, end up failing, right? It's like the quality of data or the quantity of data, right? So both matters equally, quality and quantity, right? Even if you have, let's say, millions of documents, but they are not relevant to the use case that you want to solve, it really is not helpful. Or if the data is not labeled, it's not really helpful. But if you just have 100 documents and you provide it to the machine learning and expect everything to work, that's also something that doesn't scale up. The next is again the technology as well, right? So does the company has like very predated servers, or they are lagging behind, or what, how they are technology and their technology stack as well. So that's also something that can be an hindrance. And implementation is also very important, like to understand what is the correct form of implementation, using correct pipelines, making sure the governance policies are followed, and we are solving the business use cases, right? So that's also very essential to understand all of these pillars. So let me take you now to like the various stages as well, right? So like it could be so the four stages are, right, initiation, experimentation, and adaptation and transformation. So I'll just briefly go over each pillars, and like we would try to relate. We would ask you guys also to try to relate, like, oh, we are on this stage for this, and so that's where we would find. So most of the companies that we customers that we engage with are, right, in like higher initiation, lower experimentation stage, and everybody would like to go to like the high end of the adaptation stage, and like ideal scenarios to everybody to be in transformation stage for all the pillars. But we have found like to reach transformation stage for all of the pillars, right? That's a very, very big challenge. And it's a very long-term vision that we need to have, but that's something that can be done. So again, right, from the strategic perspective, right, like again, right, if the executive levels don't see it, or they just see it as something that we should experiment with it, and they don't buy it in completely, right, that's a big red flag for us, because we need to make sure that everybody buys into the project, the vision for it, and support it through the life cycle of it, right? So they just don't want to see a very short term goal, but they want to see a broader perspective of how they want to grow. So, right, if you are in the experimentation stage, right, for the strategy would be like you have identified the specific projects to begin POC. But again, then there would be a no budget in place, which is also very important, right? So we have to make sure that you have the correct strategy as well. People also, like people also, right, most of the companies that we have worked on, right, like they have zero to very few AI practitioners or ML practitioners available in their team, and they just try POC projects, but then they lack the support of other data engineers and other key business stakeholders as well, or business experts or consultants or analysts who tell them like the business problems in depth and make them understand like what needs to be done, because that's also a very, very important aspect of how the team needs to be presented, right? So that we can take the project beyond the finishing line as well. I'll focus more on data again. Most of the companies, customers that we have worked, right, they say we have a lot of data, but when we go through some of their data, right, the quality is not there. Uh, Sometimes they just have like hundreds of thousands of documents in various silos, and like we cannot make head and tail of them, and we cannot understand what is the correct data source, nor they could explain it to us like what would be the correct data source. So having an correct data sourcing, having a correct data engineering pipeline, having making sure that the data that needs to be used to train the model, or that needs to be used to build the solutions, is readily available. Then sometimes a lot of the companies also, then if they're in the adaptation stage, right, they have a very dedicated data gathering and labeling teams also in place, right? So based on that, right, they are able to make sure that they have correct data sources, they build data warehouses, data lakes, so that any other AI solutions they need to make, right, the data is available for them, for the ML practitioners to consume it and use it in the correct format. Again, emphasis is always on the data, as I mentioned, right? The quality and the quantity of data both matter equally when we talk about data. From technology perspective, right? Yeah, again, right. If some of the clients, right, have a lot of restrictions, or they have uh, own servers and their cloud systems not ready, or they don't have the permissions to do all of that, right? That can be an hindrance. But as like we are partners with AWS, right? So we take security aspect also very as a very key factor in, right? So we try to make sure that we use most of the AWS services itself, so that it's secure, your information doesn't get lost, and the adoption of technology can be moved very quickly from initiation to experimentation to adoption stage. So that's something that Idexcel can take care very quickly. But again, right, we evaluate for all of our customers, right, where they are, and based on that, we come up with the correct strategy, how we can help them to move in the next step for the AI maturity. For the implementation stage, right, again, lot of people have different use cases, right? Like each team can have a different business use case, and each of them can have a different requirement, a different need, a different endpoint. Their data sources can be very different, but some of the models, some of the data can be reused, some of the UI can be reused. So again, right, to implement is also to understand what needs to be done correctly to identify the business use case. And we have agile development, we follow agile development practices, right? Because we understand like the core requirements are not very clearly defined, and it will keep on iterating well. So we make sure that we do all of that. Then we have very strong DevOps, MLOps practices as well, so that we make sure that we have the CI/CD, which is the continuous integration, continuous development updations, and then we take care of all the SOPs that needs are placed, and we make sure that we build and deploy, and make sure that it's consumed for the end user. So that's where we assess all of the customers, and then based on again all of this data, right, we go and come up with our plan. So that's our how we look at the AI maturity assessment. The next thing that we do look, right, and this is what how we come up with uh, our solutions, right? So this is how we look at our projects, and these are the 5 pillars for our AI success, right? So we come up with one strategy, right? So different teams, we understand there are a lot of different teams, and different stakeholders and different people involved, technical people, business people, executive level people. We make sure that we have one strategy involved, which is conveyed to the whole team, which makes them all in one, which brings them into one correct mindset. Like this is what we are going to do, step 1, 2, 3 to 10, or n steps, so that everybody follows the correct strategy, and we follow it step by step, so that everybody buys it into the bigger picture and not at the short term goals. So that's what we come up with, with one strategy. Again, right, agile AI is something that I mentioned previously as well. That's very important because since we have different requirements keep updating, some needs change, but we make sure that we adopt agile AI so that we are able to be on track what customer needs, and what we are, since we are very customer focused as well, right, we make sure that we are able to deliver that goal as well. I know I've been talking about data a lot, but again, data and infrastructure alignment is something that we take most of our time in deploying, most of our time in spending our time to make sure that the project plan has that, because understanding the data again takes a lot of efforts, making sure that we have correct information, making sure that we have good quality information, making sure that we have enough information which we can make sure that will give us very sustainable outputs. Like we don't want just random samples, and like one gives us like 100% accuracy, but the next one will just give us 40% accuracy. We don't want to be in that phase. We want to make sure that we give very consistent results. So we make sure that the quality of the data and as well as the quantity of data is correctly present. And infrastructure again, right, we make sure that security aspect for every of the customers, right, because since we deal with a lot of financial services, small and medium business enterprises, even for public sectors, right, we make sure that security is paramount for us as well. So we make sure that we use a lot of AWS cloud services as well, and make sure that our infrastructure aligns with the company's infrastructure as well. The information, data transfer, everything is quite secure as well. That's where we do. People and technology adoption is again very important, since we have a lot of AWS practitioners amongst our team, as well as ML specialty practitioners, right? We are able to make sure that we make sure that the correct people are assigned, and we make sure that correct people are involved in the project to have the best possible growth for the project. Also, the last thing we believe is, right, since most of the way projects that we start is by starting small and then scaling up rapidly, right? We make sure that, okay, let's say there are like 100 different types of forms or something, 100 different type of documents that we need to work on. So we take a subset of 10 documents. We make sure that our end-to-end solution works extremely well for that 10 solutions, and then we scale rapidly, make sure that all 100 documents are taken care of. And that's where we look, and those are like the primary pillars, how we bring in our solutions, our people in to for our AI success. So one thing beyond what Idexcel has, right? And since we are in practicing for a very long time in this data extraction world, right? So we have identified very key market needs and challenges. So we have identified, like, people have a majority of the people have issue with data volume. They say we have 100 document, we have 1000 document, but when we talk about machine learning, right, it's always data hungry. They are looking for documents in tens of thousands of documents. So data volume is a very big challenge. The next challenge is data variety. A lot of the small and business enterprises that we interacted with, right, they had information in a lot of different data varieties. Like, they could be JPEGs, PDF, CSV, Excels, you name it, JSONs, you name it. They had all different kinds of data variety presents. Then we identified most of the solutions that they were trying to adopt, right? They were very traditional OCR based solutions where all the text that is written, right, just gets converted. Like, what is scanned document, right? You just get the digital form of that information. But is it really helpful? They were not able to make a business use case out of it. Since talking about traditional OCR, most of those solutions were very expensive as well and time consuming as well, because they were very limited. They had a very limited scope. And since they were very less scalable also, like, since they were all traditional OCR, they could not make changes for, let's say, if you have a 2019 tax form and there is like a one minor change in one of the schedules for 2020 tax form, for, let's say, form 1040, that's something that, again, a traditional OCR would not be able to take care of because they were all template based. So again, they had to go make all those changes, make all the templates. So that's very time consuming and very expensive as well. And again, stating both expensive and time consuming, they make it very less scalable as well. So before I move on, right, I think we have another poll question.
We do indeed. Thank you, sir. Poll number 3, if you could just take a moment to fill out the poll. What are the top data extraction challenges you are currently facing? Extraction accuracy, overall slow process, high overhead costs to convert documents, others, or none? Please just take a brief moment to fill out this poll. Thank you so much for filling out the poll. It looks like it's split between extraction accuracy and overall slow process.
Thanks, Ashley. And now let's get into the meat of the core product that we were talking about, right? Which was AIDE. So very briefly, I'll describe why we built AIDE, right? So data extraction, right? According to one of the IDC's report, right, 80% of the data by 2025 would be unstructured text. Another question arises, what and how much is unstructured text? Because, right, any forms, right? Any forms that we fill out, even the simplest of bank application for opening a new account, right? We fill out the form, we fill out a lot of details. We may have signatures, right? So they are constantly increasing, right? So we are at around the 80% mark where we have so much unstructured data, and everybody, right, wants to digitize, especially post COVID, right, where the digital transformation has picked up very, very significantly, right? We see a lot of customers coming in, right? And like, since everybody went remote, they want most of their old technologies that they were using, old processes they were using, right? They wanted to bring it, digitize it, as well as then build some custom solutions as well. So based on that, right, data extraction become a very important problem. They were all again using traditional OCR, which I already talked about, were like very expensive and time consuming. So then we came up with this uh, product called as AIDE, which is can be available as a package, but can be also be made like very custom tailored. So like when I'll talk about, right, there are like 8 to 10 features that we have, right? We can build it very custom. And like, so the first, like, I'll talk about what were the customers facing again, right? So they were buying it as a complete package, but we were making it like very custom. They were having template driven. We were exactly opposite of that. So most of these points, right, we make sure that we just do exact opposite of what they were doing, because they were the pain points. Then they could not handle file variations. They had, like, if they had just 1040 as a tax form, just to implement 1120 as another tax form, right, would take them like around next 3 to 6 months. So they could not even do a different variation or a new file category, right? So they had personal tax forms, but they could not handle commercial tax forms, or they could not handle bank statement, right? So they would require additional tools as well. There were no validation checks, and they could only handle printed text, right? So these were like the main pain points again, right? That they had. So now I'll talk about what were the AIDE's capabilities, right? So we made it a customized solution framework. If a customer says like, hey, we are just interested in like your invoices and receipt solution, right? Let's see how we can customize it, right? That's something that we specialize in. We are a template free extraction. Like if you change 2018, 2019, 2017, 2016, we can go back to tens of years of tax forms, right? That should not be an issue for us or for any upcoming this thing. We are able to handle printed and handwritten text. Since we follow a lot of AWS services, right? So we are all ISO, PCI, SOC compliance as well. Again, we beyond extract also we use a plethora of AI services, which involves computer vision, ML, NLP, and neural network. We are able to consume any type of different documents or file types as well. And again, human in the loop is something that we also take care, like Channa spoke in very depth about as well, like how human in the loop is involved. So we also do that. And then we make sure that our solutions are very secure as well. Beyond AWS, we just have a very secure form of login as well. We do identification verification using facial recognition. That's also something that we took in aspect as a feature just beyond login as well, right? We wanted to use facial recognition as something we could use to do login as well. So these are some of the AIDE's capabilities that we have over here. And I'll very quickly talk about few of the use cases that we have for the public sector as well as the financial services, right, that we have. And then we will go over the demo. The first use case that we have is, right, understanding financial statement. So one of our banking client, right, a financial service client, right, they wanted to extract all the accounts that were present in or their financial statement to calculate ratios. So they had like, I think, tens of thousands of documents, bank statements or income statement or both, or operating income statement, operating statement, all those statement, right? They needed it to have calculate certain ratios which they would want to consume for further analysis, right? So they wanted standardization, right? So what we did, right? We went in, we made sure that we were extracting the tabular information of financial statements very accurately. So we had to take in a lot of pre-processing to do that, making sure that the images of the correct quality, they are, if they are not rotated, they're scanned, skewed, or if they're not aligned properly. So that a lot of pre-processing was taken care of. Then with AWS extract table extraction, right? We were able to extract the correct text as well. Actually, I missed out a point also, right? So sometimes the SEC filing, right, had like 200 page of documents, right? So we were able to also make sure that we are able to correctly identify which pages have balance sheet and income statement present, and then just choose those relevant pages, right, to calculate the financial statement, use it for calculating ratios. Then right after making into a standard template, right, if they had like hundreds of different accounts, right, they would also want to map them into very standard template, right, so that uh, all the current assets are present in the current assets bucket. So standardizing was also very essential, right? So based on that, we did all of the mapping as well. And then after that, right, we were able to provide that information for them to calculate ratios, right? So again, right, we went from our success, right? We went from 15 minutes to less than a minute, right? Under a minute, we were able to consume a document. So the user just had to upload a financial statement. They would select what year they are interested in, and we were under a minute, right? We would be able to take all the mappings, calculate ratios based on that, right? So that was something that we were personally, I was also very surprised, like 15 times savings in time, right? That's something that's way you don't see quite often, right? But that's something we were able to achieve just by using some pre-processing, some computer vision to make sure the image quality is clear. Then some post-processing, right? Whatever tabular information we get from extract, right? Doing all of that, and then some very NLP based task to make sure that we map it to the correct accounts as well. And that's the end-to-end workflow for understanding the financial statements. And I'll be demoing it to you guys as well so that you can see it live as well. The next thing that we worked, right, we wanted to do a form-based document extraction and redaction. So the customer, right, they just wanted to extract key value pairs from tax documents, right? So that they could make sure that they have the necessary information in their loan processing department, right? So we were able to have all different kinds of tax forms available. So 1040, 1120, 110, 1098, Schedule K, all the different schedules also that were involved, right? That needs to be identified to do all of that. But making sure that the PII information, right, the personal information that was present also, right, was very importantly redacted as well, so that we don't provide the loan processing guys but all their personal informations are very safely redacted before it's presented uh, to the loan processing team. So again, the document extraction and redaction solution was presented, where we were extracting the key and value pairs for them, and we had the redaction for all of the PII information, and even the checkboxes were taken care of. So yeah, just imagine, right, going through all the different line items in a tax form and having a system do all of that, right, can reduce the time very significantly. So that's where we were. The next use case that I would like to discuss is for the legal documents, right? Loan contracts or any NDA documents or anything that they have, right? They have very complex pieces of information. Like their clauses are very difficult to understand and comprehend as well. So what we did, right? We firstly make sure that we extract all the important entity information, all the contract dates, who are the involved parties, what is the pricing information involved, all of those informations, right? They were very clearly understood as part of the contract analysis. Sorry about that. The next step that we took was, right, we went and understood the terms and conditions also involved, all the different clauses that were present, the various details regarding contract, right? How the contract is presented, which party is liable for what, right? That's something that we also worked on to make sure that the clause is also clearly presented as textual information and who is liable for what. So there were like very specific NLP based rules to understand all of those, so the consumer were able to identify of that. So there were two fold benefits for it, right? The first was to digitize all the old contracts, right? Some contracts, right? The loan documents could be 25-year old because the loan was for 30-year-old. And so to have those information digitized, right? To have all those metadata, who is the relevant parties, what is the address, when is the contract expiring, how much is the duration, right? So all of that was very important. And then again, right, deeper insights and catalog the documents, right? Okay, this is involved for all the residential loans, or they are involved for all the commercial loans, and to cataloging as well. And the team, right, based on understanding the terms and conditions, right, they had like how we saw in Channa's presentation, right, how they were able to query that, right? So presenting some very particular information about the clauses, right, they were able to develop deeper insights. So that's something that we are also able to deliver. So that's how the legal document and extraction was working. And the last use case, right, that I want to talk about is like the the summarization for the banking statements, right? So one of the visa application centers, right, they have to manually investigate the personal bank statements of applicants and make sure that they have minimum balance is available, what's their average balances, and all of that, right? So all of that took a lot of time to make sure that okay, the applicants can be processed. So again, right, we partnered with the visa processing company to build the tool to mock the data and understand and extract the table from any bank statement, right? So you can go to your bank, get download the latest last month statement and upload it, right? And we are able to see that we can create a summary report for the input bank, right? What is the minimum balance and all of that, right? So yeah, in overall, we were able to reduce time process significantly, and we were able to create the summary of bank statements as well. So before I go to the demo, right, I want to very quickly go through over the architecture as well, right? So again, if we have a user, you can upload a PDF image, anything of that format. We have a UI, we can build custom UI as well. Then we have some pre-processing, again, computer vision, image standardization. That's something that we take care of. Then we provide the tabular information to text track. Also, one more step in pre-processing is like to identify what are the correct pages, what are the relevant pages that we need, right? So if you give like 50 pages, but only 5 pages that need have the information that we want, right? We make sure that we don't process 50 images. We process only 5 pages, right? So that also something that we take care at the pre-processing step. Then we go to the AWS text track and they are able to give us the information. And then we post process a bit, we massage the data and we store it in the S3 results. And then we have SES system so that we could provide the output in S3 email or shared drive. So that's where we are. Again, right, beyond UI also, we can have an API based approach as well. You can have it as an API payload. And yeah, we are a standalone application. So yes, let's take to the fun part of the presentation, which is the demo. So very quickly, right? So this is the homepage for us for AIDE, and like we have the extraction and redaction for functionality present. So like first let me take you to one of the tax forms that we have, right? So let me take you over with 1040 form, and yeah, just submit, right? So I can quickly show you also, right, how the form looks like, right? So yeah, so you can see it's a very standard 1040 form, and all of this information is present, right? So we can see like, okay, we are able to redact also those information, right? The social security number and everything, right? So we make sure that we inform all the correct relevant information and present it, and all of this information, right, can be provided as a JSON output as well, or a CSV downloads, or anything of that aspect as well, right? So that's also can be taken care of. So we customize based on how your end application needs to be presented, right? So we take care of that. So moving on, right? Let me take you through a difficult extraction, right? Let's look at a handwritten one, because we said like we can do handwritten one as well, right? So let's look at a handwritten tax forms. So let me very quickly show you how the handwritten tax form looks like, right? So you can see, right, it's a very dummy data, and yeah, all of this takes care, and yeah, we will be having handwritten text forms. Yeah, so we can see, yeah. So based on, right, different forms also, right, we are able to make sure that all of this information gets correctly extracted, and we have all the relevant information present. So next thing I would want to show you is like the legal doc, the use case that we talked about, right? Let's look at those. Let's look at the lease agreement itself, right? Let's see what all information we are able to extract, right? So we can showcase it to you, right? So yeah, so like it's a 2-page equipment lease document, right? So we can make sure that, okay, when was the lease signed, when was the commencement, when was it terminated, what was the lease amount, who was the first party, who was the second party, what were the addresses, who signed for the first party, who's signed for the second party, like all of those information. So over here we have not shown spoken about the terms as well, because that was very custom to the client as well. But these were like some of the information, right, that we have, right? That's where we are able to showcase about the extraction. So we use a combination of it extract and comprehend and some spacey based logics, right? Spacey as well, right? To you
Tushar, I'm
extract
sorry to
all of
interrupt
it.
you, sir. I just want to let you know we're only seeing the slideshow. We haven't seen any of the demo.
Oh,
It's still
sorry
showing us the 8 demo
about.
slide.
Oh God. Oh, thank you for notifying me that. Okay, so okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Now we
Okay.
can see it.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Ashley.
much.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I don't know why that happened, but okay. I'll just quickly recap the last 2 to 3 minutes of my demo, right? So let's look at one of the forms, right? Let's look at one of the handwritten forms, right? Or let's look at actually this form, 1065 form, right? And we can see, right, we can just have a very quick look at, this is for 1040, but let's look at the 1065 form also, right, that we have over here, right? So this is the standard form that we have, and all of that information that is present, right? So we are able to extract all of that information and consume all of that information into tabular. So we extract all the different schedule information as well, making sure that everything is present. Yeah, so that's something that we do. So let's look at for the other use case, right? Let's look at the lease agreement document that we have. And since we discussed about that use case, right, let's look at how we extract it over here. Yeah, so we can see that, right, equipment, it was an equipment lease document, right, which was a 2-page document. And we can see like how we are able to extract when was it executed, when was the lease commencing, when it will terminate, what was the lease amount, who are the parties involved, what were the addresses, who was the signing people for each of the parties. So all of these informations, right, we are able to extract based on using textract, uh, comprehend, as well as spacey. So some combination of all of those, right, helped us extract all of this information. So again, right, invoices and receipts, something that Channa showed. So that's something that we have very similar as well. But I would like to show a bank statement as well. So bank statement as well, right? Since we discussed like the fourth use case for the visa application center, right? So we are able to see the bank statement, right? This was the bank statement. When was it issued? When was the statement period? What was the opening balance? What was the closing balance? What was the average monthly balance? How much was the lowest balance? So all of those summary type information, right? The bank statement could be like for 5 to 6 pages as well, right? So having those summary output, right, really helps to expedite all of that process. So that's something that we also did. And possibly, right, the last thing I would like to show you is, right, the financial statement, right? So when by the time, right, the financial statement gets loaded, right, I'll just very quickly show you what the financial statement looks like. Yeah, so we had this financial statement for this period, right? So as we mentioned, right, for this client, right, we wanted to calculate specific ratios only for this period. Let's say that the user is just registered for 31/8/2018, right? So we are able to extract the information for that for the balance sheet as well as the income statement, right? And calculate the ratios based on that, right? So based on, right, if you are interested for 2016 or 2017, right, we can make sure that you can enter that period, and we are able to extract all the information and present it into ratio. So that's how we make sure that the end consumer, right, however they whatever interest ratio they were interested, right, we were able to map it into some of the standardized accounts that were presented, and we were able to present that information. So for this, right, we are able to do the pre-processing of understanding what is the balance sheet, what is the income statement, what are the account names present, to map them into the correct account names. And before that also, right, sending into the textract table API to get all of that information, right? So that's where we were. So yeah, yeah. Again, right. In the slide also we mentioned that we were able to reduce it from 15 minutes to around 1 to 2 minutes, right? So we are able to see all of this information, right, gets converted into what were the current ratio, quick ratio, what was the working capital, what was the debt to asset ratio for that period. So overall, that's how the product was built. So based for different customers, right? We have made this demo environment, how we showcase the different aspect of our solutions. But overall, right, we have built it for a lot of different customers, different customized solutions. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from my end for the demo aspect as well and part of my presentation. So I think we just have one last poll questions before we move to the Q&A section.
Thank you, sir. Yes, we do indeed. For the last poll, if you could kindly fill out your answers, either using the Zoom, just click on what you would like to answer, or go ahead and use your chat box if you're watching us on the live stream. Are any use cases mentioned below relevant within your organization? Form-based document extraction and redaction, understanding financial statements, summarization of bank statements, legal document extraction, or others? So go ahead and leave this up for about 30 seconds if you'd kindly go ahead and answer. Thank you so much for answering the poll. Looks like, again, it's split here between form-based documents, extraction and redaction, understanding financial statements, and legal document extraction. This time, we'll go ahead and end the call. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy weekend.
Thanks all.
Thank you, guys.